Good morning, Underestimated Nation. I'm yours truly, Dr. Erica Seaborn. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Underestimated Strength. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, and this is an impromptu episode. I've been inspired by recent events to do this. This has been weighing on my heart this morning. I know we are living in some challenging times right now, especially with the economy. Even people who make six figures are finding it difficult to make ends meet because the cost of living has increased so significantly. Interest rates have skyrocketed, and even though they're claiming that things are improving, they're really getting worse. I will tell you this, as a believer in Jesus Christ, I know that this won't last forever, and I tend to not look at what's going on around me, and I tend to look at above what's going on. By that I mean I put my faith in God, and I'm not saying that people who are going through are not putting their faith in God, but I'm just sharing how I deal with it. I tend to not look at what's going on. I tend to look at who's getting me through it, and that who is Jesus Christ. I will say that in spite of what's going on in this nation, universally, with the economy, I have been blessed to have the resources I need to not only help me, but to help others. And if I stop to look at what's going on around me, that's when I know I will get discouraged. I encourage you today to not look at what's going on around you. And it's not going to be easy. But when you feel yourself tempted to compare your situation with someone else's, or to look at the circumstances and think that what's going on around us is controlling how we can handle things, just remind yourself that you can get through this. Your circumstances cannot dictate how you can overcome a situation. Now, if you are a believer, a Christian believer, I'm pretty sure you know where I'm coming from, but if you're not, you can't look at what's going on around you physically or emotionally and compare yourself and your situation to someone else's. The reason why you can't compare what you're going through with someone else is because you don't know all of the underlying circumstances or aspects of their situation, just like they don't know everything that you're going through. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to you to compare what someone else has or hasn't gone through to what you have or haven't gone through. Someone may say, "Oh, I'm still waiting to be married, and everyone around me, all my relatives, all my friends, everyone's getting married, and here I am. I'm single, I'm raising kids." And you may not know this, but not every situation is a happy situation. People will show you what they want you to see. And I can give you an example of this. I have acquaintances and some friends who will admit to you, well, they have admitted it to me, that they will post or share what they want others to see online. They will not share what's really going on. You may see a happy couple online, but offline and behind the scenes and in their home, they're miserable. But they want to portray to the world that, hey, I'm happy and we're happy, wish us well. And there may be people who have children and post about how blessed they are to have children, but they will not post the discord or the struggles they face in raising their children. And even, it's not just on social media, it's in real life. Offline, you can go out in public and you can see people smiling and talking about how wonderful their life is. They will show you that in public, but behind the scenes, it's a different story. There are people who may say, oh, well, I'm not having any trouble at all. And they may share recent purchases of cars and homes that they've gotten and talk about how blessed they are. But behind the scenes, they are really struggling to make ends meet. And not to say that everyone is dealing with that or those situations, but what I'm saying is you cannot compare what you're going through to what you see on the surface in someone else's life. People will show you what they want you to see. And in that situation, when you know that's happening, when people do that, they're underestimating the level of discernment other people have, and they're underestimating the care and compassion other people may have in helping them. Now, granted, it's not wise to tell everyone everything, but it's also not wise to pretend or put on a mask just to say, hey, I'm happy, when you're really not. There are a lot of people who are discouraged and feel like giving up because they're comparing what they're going through to what they're seeing and witnessing other people display what they're being blessed with, or what good times they're having, or what good things are happening in their lives. I say all of this to say, when you start feeling yourself wanting to give up, feeling discouraged, ask yourself, why? Ask yourself, am I comparing my situation to what someone else is dealing with? Am I looking at what someone else is experiencing or what they're getting and saying, oh, I'm not getting what they're getting? Ask yourself. You have to use this as a self-evaluation moment. Ask yourself, am I really that bad off? And then when you think about it, you may realize that you are comparing your situation to what you wish you had through someone else's life, because you're looking at what someone else is dealing with and what someone else is getting or experiencing that you desire to have. And I admit, there have been times in my life where I've been in that situation. I've looked at people getting married or having relationships that were happy, and I almost felt like giving up many times, but I persevered because I knew deep down that, hey, their life is not my life. God has created me for something unique, for things that He didn't call them to do, but He called me to do, and vice versa. God has created every individual on this earth differently, and none of us are alike. None of our callings are alike. None of our intended destinies are alike. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us was customized, just like a car or something you get from a store. Or it can be an outfit that's customized for you, tailored for you. You go to a tailor, he takes your measurements, your dimensions, and customizes a suit or dress or pants or shirt or whatever for you to wear. If someone else were to put on that suit or shirt or dress that was customized for you, it wouldn't fit them. So when you think of your life, you have to think that way. My life doesn't fit someone else's, and someone else's life doesn't fit mine. We were created differently for different purposes. Whatever my calling is not someone else's calling. However God created me, He created me for a unique, specific purpose, and no one else can fill my spot. No one else can fill someone else's spot. Someone else may have a different gifting or calling, or different types of relationships, or different circumstances in their life where they're living a lifestyle that you may desire to have, such as a nice big home or a nice condo, or traveling frequently, and you're living in a different place. You may be living in an apartment or maybe renting a home, and you may be looking at that person or persons and saying, I wish I had what they had. But you don't know what they had to go through to get what they get, and you don't know what God has called them to do, and you don't know what God has destined them to do. And you are spending so much time focusing on what someone else has or doesn't have that you are taking the eyes off of your life. Essentially, underestimated nation, when you look at someone else and compare what they have to what you have, you are underestimating yourself. The whole point is you need to look at yourself. You need to seek what God has called you to do. You need to seek your purpose, not compare your purpose with someone else's circumstances. God has great things in store for you. And I believe in my heart that everyone on this earth is called to do something great. But not everyone fulfills their calling because they're either comparing themselves to someone else, or they are trying to do what someone else is doing, or trying to live a life or lifestyle that someone else is living because they desire to be like someone else. They desire to have what someone else has, but they are neglecting that they are called to be themselves. Embrace the uniqueness that you have within yourself. Embrace your unique circumstances. And when you do that, You will fulfill your calling.